Day 32 of the Iran war came with a tough warning from Iran's Revolutionary Guard. The powerful paramilitary is threatening to target U.S. companies across the Middle East, companies such as Google, Microsoft, and Apple, in retaliation for ongoing attacks. Now, both the U.S. and Israel launched a new wave of strikes on Tuesday, including precision strikes against air defense systems across Tehran. Meanwhile, authorities in Dubai say they've contained a fire on an oil tanker that was hit by an Iranian drone. At a press conference today, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth conceded that Iran still had the ability and the weapons to attack, but he said time is running out for Tehran's leaders.
The upcoming days will be decisive. Iran knows that, and there's almost nothing they can militarily do about it. Yes, they will still shoot some missiles, but we will shoot them down. Of note, the last 24 hours saw the lowest number of enemy missiles and drones fired by Iran. The latest intel is clear out of CENTCOM. Our strikes are damaging the morale of the Iranian military, leading to widespread desertions, key personnel shortages, and causing frustrations amongst senior leaders.
For more, I'm joined now by Middle East analyst Shahin Modarres. Shahin is with the International Team for the Study of Security. He directs the Iran team there. Shahin, it's good to have you with us. Let me ask you, today U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth conceded that Iran still has the ability to retaliate, to shoot missiles, despite more than a month of U.S.-Israeli bombing. Who should be surprised here, the Americans or the Iranians?
Hello, and thank you for having me. Regarding what the War Secretary Hegseth said, the one to be surprised is actually both parties here, both Iranians and Americans, because the first thing about the United States is that it appears that they have somehow underestimated the Islamic Republic's capability of going on without having a central nervous system. This means that the Islamic Republic is actually used to this partisan technique that they're using. At the same time, what is left of the Ayatollahs in Tehran are also quite surprised to see this, the precisional strikes that U.S. and Israel are making, even against their launchers and about the facilities that they thought are secrets.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And you know, it only takes one missile or one drone to kill and to do substantial damage. I mean, we saw the images a few days ago of a U.S. AWACS plane on the ground in Saudi Arabia, torn in two by an Iranian attack. I mean, Iran may be weakened now, but is that also a strength?
Well, the main point is that Iran has been weakened. The Islamic Republic in Iran has been clearly weakened, but it's still not being toppled. This means that the Islamic Republic, having learned in the past almost 5 decades one thing, that how they can actually bring on a war and how they can continue a hostility or war such as this without conventional methods. That is the reason why the Islamic Republic is quite hard to topple just bombing.
Mm-hmm. You know, in the span of these past 4 weeks, we've gone from fighting the threat of a nuclear weapon to pushing for regime change, and most recently to securing the Strait of Hormuz. I mean, a zigzag, if you will, of war aims. And I'm wondering, leading to which end? Do you see a U.S. strategy here?
Well, the U.S. strategy has not been clear regarding the Islamic Republic. When we look at it from the beginning of the war, the Israel's strategy has been somehow a sort of regime change or a complete failed state that cannot pose as a threat against Israel anymore. When it comes to the United States, we can see that they began by saying that we want to eradicate the nuclear program, the ballistic missile program, and the proxy groups, and eventually we need Iran to surrender. We need the Islamic Republic actually to surrender and to stop the hostility with U.S. and Israel. And because of anticipating that such a thing can happen in the Strait of Hormuz, they wanted to get rid of the Islamic Republic's navy as well. Well, they have so far reached those goals, But after that, it appears that the United States is going after a political change as well in Iran to guarantee the sustainability of the peace in the region. And one of the means to do so can be toppling the Islamic Republic, which can bring the scenario of a ground invasion, particularly in the south.
I'm wondering how solid the military is right now in Iran. The U.S. Defense Secretary says that Iran's military forces are standing on their last leg. He says that morale has plummeted. There are also reports that Revolutionary Guard Aerospace Force Commander, the head of the Air Force, has simply not shown up during major battles, offering no leadership to the soldiers who are launching missiles and drones for Iran. I mean, this sounds like a military, at least, that may be falling apart.
Yes, that is completely true. It is not only the missiles and the bombs that are hitting the Islamic Republic, it is also the psychological aspect of this war as well, because they're afraid. And what you said about the head of the IRGC aerospatial activities not showing up at this place of duty is completely true. The reason behind this is the morale within the country's armed forces is falling in a significant way, and it means that soon we might be witnessing some sort of defection from the ranks of the Islamic Republic. But this said, this does not mean that we can yet underestimate what is left of the capabilities of the Islamic Republic, because even one missile and one drone can create a serious damage in the region.
Yeah, the power of asymmetrical warfare you're talking about there. Shahin, it's good to have you with us. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but we appreciate your valuable insights tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.